What's up, Mirantikas? We're back with another Persona 4 Revival video. Now, there's a lot of talks going on about Persona Revival's DLC. What can we see? Are there going to be any story DLC? Stuff like that. So, obviously, Revival will get DLCs. It's gonna be costumes, some accessories, stuff like that. That's all good and done. There's gonna be Persona. We're gonna get mostly like 3 and 5s, like all the legacy Personas, stuff like that. Maybe we'll get some special Personas from Arena or dancing, stuff like that. I guess dancing doesn't have, but stuff like that. So people's mind is, what DLCs can we get for Persona 4 Revival in terms of story? Because Reload got episode, I guess. Now let's just start with it. The basic of the basic is Murray. I personally think we'll just get Murray as DLC. I've seen a lot of people just talk and like, I want to say don't make it complicated, but the arguments are valid. A lot of people are talking about that Murray will not be DLC and she will be in the base game because of how Murray works. The reason is that Murray, a lot of people think that it breaks the story by not making her in DLC, because she's like in the middle of the game. So how will you access your save file if you're in the middle of the game and get her and stuff like that? I want to talk about that. First of all, Murray herself doesn't break the game because something exists, Persona 4 for the PS2. That's basically Persona 4 without Murray and a lot of slice of life updates and quality life changes and a lot of quality life events. Like I believe the beach scene, like beach hangout, is only in Golden but not in the OG P4. So stuff like that is like in go or like stuff like that. But here's the thing, the beach scene and none of these additional scenes do not count to Murray. A lot of people are adding that Murray will break the game. I want to say that's incorrect. The reason I want to say that is because when it comes to Murray, the example that comes to mind is Cyberpunk 2077, The Phantom Liberty. Now, The Phantom Liberty is a DLC that's in the middle of the story. So you have to do certain things to get to that DLC portion. If you don't have that, your DLC will be skipped. Murray works similarly, but the difference is that Murray actually is, you meet Murray right at the start of the game. There'll be slight spoilers for Persona. So a lot of people are saying that just because Murray is part of the game, unlike Episode I guess, which is a separate mode, and how DLCs work in like nowadays, a lot of people are saying Murray will not be DLC. I have a counter argument. I'm just saying is that they can just add her, and if that one cutscene doesn't play, Murray isn't activated in the game and you can't find her. That's a basic script I feel like they could do with Murray, stuff like that. A lot of people are saying Murray will not be in the game, will not be DLC, but in base game. Me personally, I think it's not that complicated. Murray looks DLC, is going to be DLC. Or they can create an additional Golden remake, which I think is not going to happen. Murray is just going to be DLC. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're just going to see Murray as DLC, and we're going to see some costumes and accessories, stuff like that. If I'm wrong, I'm actually happy to be wrong, because I will not be, then I wouldn't be paying for Murray as DLC. I would be getting her in base game. All right. So the next thing is Persona 4 Arena. I don't know when this started, but apparently a lot of people just hyped it up saying it's Arena, or a lot of people hyped it up saying they want Arena. It's possible. Arena is a thing, like me and my brother also discussed, it's possible, though they would need to, Ultimax, not Ultimax, but Arena, they would need to tweak some story mode and stuff like that, because if you have played older fighting games, and fighting games in general, you know how fighting game stories were back in the day with Street Fighter and stuff like that, where the story mode was basically their arcade mode. That's what something Persona 4 Arena does, not Ultimax. Arena does. Like every character has an arcade mode. Some of them are connected with one another, but it's convoluted to a point that there's no one canon. You can just decide whatever canon is for you. A lot of people have made the arguments that Yosuke's is canon because it's in Persona 4 Arena's manga. But again, for me personally, for me, only the games are canon. This is one thing that's different, so you can make the argument Yosuke is canon, but again, the game doesn't even say what's canon or what's not. Ultimax has one story, Arena has like this whole pick a character, play their story. A lot of people are wanting Labrys. I will be down with it. If Murray is base game and then Labrys Arena is DLC, I'd be down with it. I won't spoil, but me personally, I would really want is just a Persona Arena story, and then we could like have multiple playable characters, which is also possible because they would need to make a lot of character models for like the C's cast as adults, and they would need to make like Labrys character models and other character models, and that is tough. I feel like for a DLC, I can see that, but that is a major DLC. Like that is like they'd be charging $50 for that. I know that sounds wacky, but seeing what episode I guess's price is, this is like a $50 DLC. I think including both Arena and Arena Ultimax. Okay, we'll do that later. So for me, I think this is something that's not possible, but it's on the table because they would need to tweak a lot of stuff and they would need to make a lot of character models. I would be happy if they also add this, because then we'd have, I think Labrys' backstory is the darkest I've seen, is the most depressing I've seen, you can make the argument. There's also a Elizabeth story, which is actually, I would really love if they, continue that and like even make a separate game for it. I don't think this will happen. And Arena Ultimax story DLC, this feels too much. But I want to add, not you, but I want to add this. So I have a theory that what Atlus is doing is that they're remastering, porting games to modern console, their old Persona games, and then remaking those Persona games. That's my theory with what Atlus is doing. And the reason I say that is it's possible we might get Persona 1, 2 Innocence, and Eternal Punishment ports. But just to add, Arena Ultimax also got a port. So, or a remaster or whatever you want to call it. So Arena Ultimax is also on modern consoles. What does that mean? That they can somehow either are planning a remake or implementing it in Persona 4, or it's just what my theory is just for mainline games and this is a spin-off. So I don't think this will happen because I think for a DLC, this is way big. Like, okay, if they're willing to do this DLC, alright, then I'm gonna be honest with you, FemC as DLC or like an additional disc for FemC for Persona 3 Reload, there's no excuse that Atlus didn't do that. Because this, I'm sorry, this is hard to do than a FemC DLC. Because for FemC, you need only fewer character models and 90% of the game is reused. 90 to 99%. For this, you need a lot more character models and you need more voice actors, like additional voice actors, and you need to like make this other environments as well. They can reuse for that, but if they're willing to do this as DLC, unless they're just gonna make it really short, if they're willing to do this as DLC, then I think there's no excuse for FemC not being like in Persona 3. There's like Reload, like just saying. I don't think it will happen, but again, I don't think it will happen. Okay, we got Kanami. This is from Persona 4 Dancing. This is kind of possible, I think, because okay, so Persona 4 Dancing is an enjoyable game. It's a fun game. I think this is the best dancing game because it has a really good story mode and it doesn't overstay its welcome. If you're going after platinum, it might, but I don't think this will happen. But this has more chances than Arena ever happening. I'm sorry, this has more chances than Arena ever happening because they have to like just create additional stuff here and there, and they can just reuse some of the stuff. It's still additional voice actors, additional characters. Like again, if they do this, then there's no excuse for FemC. I'm just that kind of toxic guy. But again, if they're willing to do this, then there's no need, like they can do FemC. Because this also needs additional character models. This also needs additional, voice actors, additional resources, time, and stuff like that. Which I feel like for a DLC, if this is like $50, I can see this for $35 or $40 or even $30. Just like talking about the story DLCs, not like how they create like a wave of packs and stuff like that. That is not something I feel like. The reason I'm talking about is because these are actually like a lot of hard work. Like if they're willing to do this, this needs to be planned way ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. I don't think this is happening. So me personally, I think we're getting Maria's DLC because it's just one additional character, using the same voice actors for additional lines. Maybe if they want to add linked episodes for Marie as well, yada yada yada, do that. One additional dungeon, and then during story, some more additional lines and stuff like that. I think that's what they're going to do. Marie is going to be DLC. I don't think this and this will happen because these games are also on modern platforms. Like this one is kind of tough because you need to buy the Endless Night collection, and specifically digitally, because the physical exists but the codes I believe are expired. So this is kind of in a limbo. You can buy it, but it's a weird mess. But this exists on modern platforms. Like that's a thing. Like I know people are gonna be like, I don't like fighting games, or I don't like the way this game is structured. Yeah, but it exists. That's the point. That's the point. It exists. It's playable. It's accessible. This isn't. I mean, it is with Persona 4 Golden, but if they're doing revival, and if Marie, they have to include Marie somehow, and if she's not DLC, I don't mind being wrong. Additional content, I'm happy, but I don't see them doing this or this if Marie is base game. That's just my thoughts. All right, my Randigas, tell me in the comments below, what are you expecting? What kind of DLC you're expecting? These three are let's just cut this off. These three are what a lot of people are expecting or thinking of. I have seen these less. This is what I just added because why not? This is an elephant in the room. Let's just talk about it. Nobody's talking about this that much, but a lot of people are talking about this. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Don't have higher, really unrealistic expectations, because this is what happens. Some people might have expectations for Labrys or Arena, and that won't happen, and people are gonna hate on Revival just because you believe this is happening. There's no confirmation. That doesn't mean that the end product is terrible. That's what I want to say. But alright, my Randigas, hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what DLCs you're expecting or you want. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I'll see you guys next time with another Dragon Ball Fairy Tail Persona Shin Megami Tensei Water video. I'm looking to stop recording. Bye 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 bye.